Okay, so here we are, lesson 5. We're going to be talking today about services, so let's take a look through here. Our agenda is going to cover the culture corner, the topic Postangst. Postangst. Then we will touch on some foundational vocabulary. We'll go about hours and minutes, and we'll talk about customer services, available services out there that you can call on if you need help around the house or with your car or whatever the case may be. So Postangst it's kind of a funny thing. As Americans, I don't know that we really suffer this much. Perhaps, but I've never even considered it before until I got here. And the thing is that Germans love snail mail. They will do everything they can to mail stuff to you. And if you're like me and you put a sign on your mailbox that says "Bitte keine Werbung," like no flyers, no advertisements, etc., then you won't get them. Unlike in the States where they just ignore that altogether and it just piles on. At least that was my experience 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't checked the mail there in about that long. But here it seems like the only thing you get in the mail, besides maybe a card from a friend or something like that, maybe something you ordered on Amazon or whatever, is tickets. You get tickets in the mail. There's not really any police out there to pull you over in Germany. The camera gets you every time. So you'll just go to your mailbox one day and you'll open it up and there it is. There's your ticket, and it's for usually 5, 10, 15 euros, not very much, or you can get hit with a big one. And I've had that happen to me too. The other thing you get in the mail is bills, right? Go to a doctor on the economy. You may pay 25 euros or whatever on the spot. You may pay for your prescriptions, but then whatever they had to do, send something off to the laboratory, or whatnot, for analysis, and you're going to get a bill in the mail for that, and that's usually like 100 euros or more. It's not, you won't see prices like you do in the States, but you will get a bill. So therefore, I think, and this is just my opinion after living here for so long, I think that what it is, you kind of dread going to the mailbox because you're either going to have a ticket in there or a bill for something. And so it's not really associated with like great things, oh, what's in the mail, mommy? That's not the case, right? So I think there's a lot of folks, they look at the mailbox and they really dread having to get it. Most people will pick their mail up that I've seen personally, and I, myself included. I will not even check my mailbox when I get back to my flat in the evenings. They're all locked, right? But the next morning, that's when I'll get my mail out, take it to work with me, and then I can kind of deal with it with fresh eyes and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the last thing I want to know is that I owe somebody, 50 euros for doing 100 kilometers an hour in an 80 kilometer zone. Anyway, so there's your culture corner. We've discussed Postangst. So today, let's do our foundational vocabulary basics, our review. We talked about was. The word was is war. This, das, is, ist, sometimes, manchmal, today, heute, you, and this is where it gets a little crazy, depending on the situation, du, dich, dir, ihr, sie, and ihnen. And we'll get all into that later. Right now, just know the various words for you. Now, the question, are you? Bist du? Seid ihr? Sind sie? So, bist du is if you're speaking to someone in a formal way. Sind sie? If you're speaking to someone that you're not too familiar with. The plural, you, is euch. Euch. You may hear euch. Either way, some CHs, some people pronounce them soft, some people pronounce them hard. It's kind of up to you. It's a regional thing. It's dialectical. I don't really know that I've been able to tell any rhyme or reason, though I do believe in Hochdeutsch you'll hear a lot more k versus the sh sound. My usage is kind of both, depending on how I learned the word, when I learned it in my life, whether I was a child or if I was in university or if I picked it up here recently here. Um, so don't get too beat up on that. Whichever one you like better right now. Remember, this is basic German for just getting around and talking, shopping, dining, trying to enjoy yourself while you're here in Europe. And the word for better is lieber. Lieber or besser. Besser. So let's take our foundational vocabulary basics and let's put them in action here. So if we look over here at I was, that becomes ich war or ich war. Again, CH, hard or soft, up to you. Ich war, ich war. This is good. Das ist gut. I am, ich bin. Sometimes I am with him. Manchmal bin ich bei ihm. Today is better than tomorrow. Heute ist besser als morgen. I like this. Ich mag das. Do you like this? Mögen Sie das? Either way, or 6-1, half dozen to the other. This is it's a pretty common phrase in Germany. The way you want to say, hey, either way makes no sense to me, makes no difference, whatever. You can say so oder so ist in Ordnung. So oder so ist in Ordnung. And here, this is much better. The sentence, this is much better. Das ist viel besser. Das ist viel besser. So, putting this into a new perspective, I am from Texas, which is true. Ich bin von Texas. You don't have to pronounce, American cities and words and whatnot. You don't have to find like German equivalent because you don't want to find one for Texas. But ich bin von Texas makes sense, Ich bin von California. You probably want to use a German accent and try to pronounce each of the consonants and vowels as you would in Germany. But remember, it's also American, and they're going to have heard of these places. Are you from Texas? Sind Sie von Texas? Sind Sie von Texas? I am with you. Ich bin mit dir. Now that's the singular case. If we go to the plural, ich bin mit euch. Ich bin mit euch. Or you could say again, ich bin mit euch. Without is ohne, ohne, ohne. I am without her today. Ich bin heute ohne sie. Ich bin heute ohne sie. Always is immer, immer, immer. I am always with him. Ich bin immer mit ihm. Ich bin immer mit ihm. Almost, which is kind of funny, is fast. Fast. Which kind of makes sense in a way if you want to draw a mnemonic device to that. Fast. It's almost. So to put that in action, we'll go with there, which is dort or da. Dort or da. The way I try to remember these is dort is over there and da is there. But they're pretty interchangeable. And since this is just basic getting around trying to enjoy ourselves in German, don't get too hung up so much on this. Dort oder da ist okay. But dort is over there and da is there. I am almost there. Ich bin fast da. Ich bin fast da. So now let's look at our hours and minutes. Stunden und Minuten. Okay? Stunden is your hours and Minuten are your minutes. I will be there at 5 o'clock. Ich werde 5 Uhr da sein. Ich werde 5 Uhr da sein. I was on the road for 5 hours. Ich war 5 Stunden unterwegs. Ich war 5 Stunden unterwegs. So you'll see 5 Uhr is a clock or of the clock, right? Whereas Stunden is when you're talking about hours specifically, not like hours, like I was for 5 hours, or it took me 3 hours to get there, or you can only park here for an hour and a half. But if you're saying it's 5 o'clock or it is 3 o'clock, then that's Uhr versus Stunden. I need 20 minutes. Ich brauche 20 Minuten. Ich brauche 20 Minuten. So, looking here at our consumer services, die Dienstleistungen für Verbraucher. A Verbraucher is someone who needs something, right? Brauch, brauchen, is to need something, and so therefore it's Dienstleistungen. Dienst means service, so it's basically services for people in need. And we have the plumber, all right? And he is known, or she is known, as der Klempner. Klempner. Electrician is der Elektriker. Der Elektriker. A carpet cleaner is der Teppichreiniger. Teppichreiniger. HVAC is Heizung und Klimaanlage. Heizung und Klimaanlage. Heizung und Klimaanlage. Repair services, you'll see this word in everything where there's talking about televisions or window repair, right? Fernseher, Fenster, Reparatur. Reparatur. It's repairing. You can see the English repair in that word, a lot like you can the electrician. Now, when you go to see a tailor, you are going to see, I've only ever run into a female tailor. I've never seen a male tailor. I've never used one. I know I've seen a couple. But the female tailor, seamstress if you will, is Schneiderin. Schneiderin, it's a male, Schneider. Schneider. Alterations, and I know when you're around military bases you see this everywhere because, uniforms need to have stuff sewn on or tapered in or what have you. Änderungen. Änderungen. Housekeeper. Haushälterin, if it's a female. Haushälter, if it's a male. You see signs for the fire department, you will see Feuerwehr. Feuerwehr. And the police, and I use this graphic. You don't see them too much unless there's an event or a protest or something, that just, even peaceful protests, they're still going to come out. They're very focused on calming things, right? They're not aggressors, right? They always try to figure out a way to defuse things. And again, you won't get pulled over unless you're doing something absolutely crazy and you happen to pass by a cop. But the camera will get you every time, and then you will suffer from Postangst, and you won't want to get your mail in the evenings when you get home. Hospital is Krankenhaus. Krankenhaus. Krank means to be sick. Krankenhaus is like a house for the sick house. The nurse is die Krankenschwester. Die Krankenschwester. If it's a male, it's still die Krankenschwester. It literally means sick sister. Sick sister. Kranken, right? And then Schwester is, our word, the word for sister. Der Doktor, right? And it makes no difference, male or female. Der Doktor. Now, something we have in Germany here, which is, I think, amazing, and I wish we had it back in the States, but I think a lot of our MDs who are ED specialists, meaning emergency department, not erectile dysfunction, But ED specialists, emergency physicians in the States, I don't know that you would get them too willingly to just drive around all day in their own little ambulance, but this is what this is. A Notarzt is literally kind of a shortened version of Notfallarzt, which is like an emergency doctor. And a med tech. If you run into a medical technician, they will tell you that I am a Medizintechniker. Medizintechniker. And then we have the paramedic, right? You know, and you'll see these out there. Der Sanitäter, or der Rettungssanitäter. Sanitäter. And next week, we're going to be talking about die Familie und Feiertage. So we'll be talking about families and holidays in Germany, as well as a review, and we'll be going through some more basic vocabulary essentials to build our ability to get conversational. In about 2 months, you will all be ready to go have a solid conversation. A lot of you are already trying, and that's great. But 3 months usually of lessons, and we're going to be where we're starting to bat at least 600. So it'll be good stuff. Anyway, until then, I will see you guys in about a week. Take care and be well. Let's not forget our high reliability principles.